How does Hua Cheng react when Xie Lian sees him without his eye patch? Recently, I made a video about Hua Cheng, and one of the things I talked about was Hua Cheng's insecurity about his looks. How little things like him tensing up and asking Xie Lian questions show that even after 800 years, Hua Cheng still thinks he is ugly and is nervous about his looks. Well, turns out there is a new extra in the revised edition that tells us exactly how Hua Cheng feels about his looks. And let me tell you, it's worse than you think. Way, way worse. The topic of Hua Cheng's eye patch did cross my mind before. Once I thought about it, I really wanted to find out how Hua Cheng reacted to Xie Lian seeing him without it. In the birthday extra, we see that Hua Cheng is already at a point where he is comfortable to be around Xie Lian without the eye patch. But there had to be something in between. So, like any sane person, I went to AO3 and read fanfics about it, and wrote a few myself. Like I said, completely sane behavior. Imagine my surprise when I found out from a comment that there is a new extra in Heaven Official's Blessings Revised Edition that shows exactly that moment. Ah! I know, I'm a fake fan for not knowing that, but the last year my mental health has been in the absolute gutter, so cut me some slack. Let me tell you, how Hua Cheng reacted in canon is worse, way worse than any fanfic I read. The man is, and I say it absolutely lovingly, pathetic. He is an anxious, insecure mess, and I love it. None of the fanfics I read came close to depicting Hua Cheng's real reaction. Most of them have him be a bit hesitant or trying to cover his face, but with a bit of coaxing from Xie Lian, he gives in. Well, that is not what happens. One morning, Xie Lian wakes up before Hua Cheng and sees him all sleepy with messy hair and without his eye patch. Obviously, Xie Lian thinks that he looks hot. Who wouldn't? Hua Cheng, on the other hand, turns pale with fright and runs away. You heard that right. The Supreme Ghost King, the ruler of Ghost City, ran away. Xie Lian rushed after him, but he was gone. I never expected that reaction, but I love it. Also, Paradise Manor's floor is covered with soft fur, because at some point, Hua Cheng heard a rumor that Xie Lian likes running around barefoot. Hua Cheng is so sweet and pathetic. Even after the ghosts in Ghost City made a huge ruckus, he didn't show himself. Also, after Hua Cheng returned after death number 3, Xie Lian developed a fear that if he wasn't careful enough, Hua Cheng would disappear again. Both of them are so traumatized. Eventually, when Hua Cheng finally appeared again, he was in his Sunlang form. When he met Xie Lian at the beginning of the novel, Sunlang didn't have any silver ornaments or makeup and his hair was randomly tied. But now he went all out. Hua Cheng's hair was combed, his clothes had silver embroidery, his silver belt was meticulously engraved, and so on. Xie Lian once again marvels at how hot Hua Cheng looks. Like, he is completely stunned with Hua Cheng's beauty. To Xie Lian's credit, he does ask if Hua Cheng is okay, but Hua Cheng dismisses it. Later, they go beat up some monsters, and Hua Cheng goes all out again, beautifully disposing of the monsters. Xie Lian is once again stunned with his beauty, and is disappointed that there were no silver butterflies, because he wanted the fight recorded so he could savor it for years. Xie Lian is so head over heels for Hua Cheng, it's amazing. Later, when they are eating, Hua Cheng once again shows what a sweet, attentive husband he is. He changed Xie Lian's chopsticks because the previous ones were from an elephant demon, and Xie Lian once mentioned that elephant demons have docile dispositions, and Hua Cheng thought that the chopsticks made from it might upset Xie Lian. I'm Airways, and I still want a husband like Hua Cheng. Then, Hua Cheng talks about a piece of jade that was cut by Grand Master, but the Grand Master messed up and it turned out crooked. Even with that mistake, the jade was a Grand Master level masterpiece, but the jade didn't see it that way and thought that he was absolutely ugly. This is obviously a metaphor for how Hua Cheng sees himself. I won't go into it. Let's move to the fun stuff. Hehehe. Hua Cheng asks what Xie Lian thinks of his new look, and Xie Lian replies that it's absolutely amazing. But Hua Cheng immediately asks, but what? and when Xie Lian asks him to stop using this form, he immediately goes stiff and asks if he looks bad. Oh, the insecurity. And when Xie Lian says that he would prefer, Hua Cheng doesn't even let him finish and turns into a child. I can't. Hua Cheng is such a dork. That's when Xie Lian understands what's going on and calls himself stupid for not realizing sooner. I absolutely adore that Xie Lian realized this so quickly. He is just as attentive as Hua Cheng. Like many, Xie Lian thought that Hua Cheng had already gotten over his insecurity. But how wrong he was. Xie Lian asks Hua Cheng to turn back to his true form, but Hua Cheng refuses, saying that it is inappropriate. But Xie Lian knows how to deal with Hua Cheng, so he asks him to turn into the Sunlang form, and he does. Baby steps. Baby steps. If it wasn't already obvious, Hua Cheng was showing off all day in order for Xie Lian to forget what he saw that morning, which obviously didn't work. I find it hilarious that Hua Cheng's trump card is to turn into a child. What an absolute dork he is. While Xie Lian is explaining Hua Cheng's failed plan to him and at the end asks him why he did it, Hua Cheng just sits there quietly and the only word he spits out is ugly. He's a child. Hua Cheng is an 800-year-old child. Xie Lian gets a headache from that response and asks if Hua Cheng had ever looked into a mirror before. That is probably the most realistic response there is. Then Xie Lian goes to say how beautiful Hua Cheng is, that he loves how he looks, that morning he was so stunned by Hua Cheng's beauty that it made him stupid, and he gawked, and that he wants to see Hua Cheng unguarded, he wants to see everything. Xie Lian is red after saying that. He opened up even though it was super embarrassing to help Hua Cheng. Everyone says how amazing Hua Cheng is, but Xie Lian is just as amazing. You'd think that this would be the end, that Hua Cheng believes Xie Lian and gets over his insecurities. But no! Not at all. Instead, Hua Cheng says, such an inappropriate appearance. Hua Cheng is a mixture of adorable, pathetic, and trauma. Hearing Hua Cheng's response, Xie Lian actually becomes angry. In the end, Xie Lian plays his trump card. He blames himself, asking what did he do wrong for Hua Cheng to misunderstand him so much. That finally snaps Hua Cheng out of his self-loathing, and Xie Lian pats his back, asking, better? Xie Lian knows exactly how to deal with Hua Cheng, and I love it. Then Xie Lian is shocked to find out that even as a child, no one called Hua Cheng cute, thinking that even a mud-covered monkey would get called cute by someone. Which is very sad. Hua Cheng then says that there was someone that called him cute, and Xie Lian is relieved, grateful for that person, only to find out that that person was him. It is sad that Xie Lian isn't able to completely remember his interactions with Child Hong Konger, but at least Hua Cheng remembers everything. Finally, Hua Cheng says that everyone else's opinions don't matter, and only Xie Lian speaks the truth, and everything Xie Lian says is the truth. That's when Xie Lian finally gets him. If everything he says is the truth, then when he says that Hua Cheng's true form is beautiful, that is also the truth. Hua Cheng finally believes him and turns back to his true form, without the eye patch. To recap, Xie Lian saw Hua Cheng without his eye patch, Hua Cheng ran away, tried to look very hot, hoping that Xie Lian will forget what he saw, turned into a child, called himself ugly even after Xie Lian praised him, still called himself ugly even after Xie Lian poured his heart out, and only gave in after Xie Lian pressed him into the corner with his own logic. If anyone tries to prove to you that Hua Cheng is a confident bad boy who knows that he is freakishly handsome, just throw this extra in their face. Even the fanfic writers couldn't depict this level of insecurity. I also love how much more comfortable Hua Cheng is around Xie Lian in the birthday extra. In this extra, Hua Cheng is still very anxious. He always wakes up before Xie Lian, and even when Xie Lian wakes up first, Hua Cheng immediately stirs. In the birthday extra, Xie Lian wakes up and leaves without Hua Cheng waking up, showing how much more relaxed Hua Cheng is. He no longer has to constantly be on high alert and can peacefully sleep. I also find it interesting that while Hua Cheng was fighting the 33 gods, he was in his true form. And the last sentence in the extra is an absolute masterpiece. Xie Lian says that Hua Cheng's true form is so beautiful that in all three realms, he is number one. Chef's kiss. Hope you enjoyed the video. This was more rambling than analyzing, but when it comes to Heaven Official's Blessing, I don't really have anyone to talk to. The one friend I have hasn't watched it, so I end up yapping about it to strangers on the internet. The next video won't be just about Heaven Official's Blessing. It will be something along the lines of the problem with strong female characters, which might include Heaven Official's Blessing characters, or it will change completely and you'll get an entirely different video. I don't know which way the wind will blow me. Anyways, thanks for watching, see you in the next video, bye!